thing that we can take away from this interview with Carlos King and NeNe Leakes is that she is an icon. Say what you want.
Y'all already know what time it is. I got the black V-neck on.
What's going on, you all? We got to talk about NeNe Leakes and her interview with Carlos King. Let me just tell you, this interview for me, I literally am getting goosebumps. It has solidified for me that NeNe Leakes, even almost like 16 years after like Bravo and Housewives of Atlanta, she still has it. She's still that girl. She is a storyteller. She is funny. She is the moment. But I don't see her going back on Real Housewives of Atlanta anytime soon, as long as Andy is running the show. So let's talk about some of the things that we've learned from the interview. NeNe Leakes was very, very candid. The chemistry between her and Carlos King was really good. I can't, the only thing that I will take the small criticism from this interview is that the sound quality was not the best. When we are doing like podcasts, especially Carlos King got the coin, period. He got the coin and the production. He's the producer. They should have had better microphones, because when interviews, I want to hear the voice. I want to hear the voice. And it was kind of hard to turn the volume up without it sounding too But, you know, girl, I want to talk because I've been using the same camera for years, but I ain't got the budget like Carlos King. But Carlos was very good, very smooth. He was able to transition. He was able to make NeNe Leakes feel comfortable. But I also think that NeNe Leakes was ready to be comfortable. She talked about her son. She talked about her dating life. She talked about a lot of things. So one of the things that kind of shook me was how much she got paid for season 1 on Real Housewives of Atlanta. So NeNe had shared that she only got paid $10,000 for the first season of Real Housewives of Atlanta. $10,000. She said she got paid $5,000 for the reunion. So in total, she made less than $20,000 filming this whole thing for season 1. They said they didn't start making money to season 4 after they spoke with lawyers. All of them teamed up and got lawyers, and then they saw a boost of like $150,000. And as the season went on and progressed, I think NeNe was getting probably like $1 million, $2 million per season to be on Real Housewives of Atlanta. One thing that you cannot deny is that NeNe Leakes built Bravo. She built Bravo. Like, I never heard of Bravo. I don't know what they were even showing on Bravo. But you know what? It honestly reminds us that time and time again, networks use black folks to build their audience. So networks like Fox back in the 90s built their audience off of black TV shows. You had Family Matters, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Like, you had networks putting out these black shows, Martin, Living Single, and they were getting viewership. Like, they were getting viewership. And once, you know, the network built up and got their coin, they canceled a lot of these shows. And we see that how Bravo is not investing as much money with Real Housewives of Atlanta. And the whole thing that has happened with NeNe Leakes and Real Housewives of Atlanta and Bravo, like it's blame to go on both sides, but I think there's even more blame to go on the network and how they treated her. Because $10,000, $15,000 a season, that, Jesus. Right now, there was a report that said that Kandi was making 2.3 a season, and some folks mistaking that for 2.3 million an episode. They are not getting no 2-3 million per episode. A lot of them probably getting 50, 70,000 per episode. I think, yeah, Kandi is the highest paid. I don't know if Kandi is getting 2 million per season. I seriously doubt that with all the cuts that that Bravo has made, and considering the budget for Real Housewives of Atlanta is in the tank. I doubt that Kandi is getting 2 million. She might, but I would highly doubt it. And even NeNe had a shot or two talking about the ratings for Bravo and Real Housewives of Atlanta. So we find out, as we already knew, that Sheree purposely left off NeNe Leakes off the guest list of the party. And you know, Sheree had said that she didn't want NeNe there because she ain't mess with her. She was like, girl, why would I have her at my party and I don't mess with her? But NeNe had already knew it. And NeNe shared that when she came on season 1, she was kind of like trying to be something. She was trying to be something else, but then she just said, you know what? I'm just going to be my authentic self. And that's the NeNe Leakes that we love. That is the NeNe Leakes. And I think that NeNe Leakes has fallen over the last couple of seasons as the show started to deteriorate. And NeNe did have, you know, some commentary about, you know, what changed Real Housewives of Atlanta. And she said that Kenya coming on and having like the fake boyfriend and all the other stuff kind of added something to the show that was not there. It was very manufactured. It was very inauthentic. And I agree with her on that. I think Kenya, although she has been, you know, fun on the show, it kind of watered it down because it wasn't reality anymore. It was kind of like, let me push these things. But we started to see that with a lot of shows. Even Love and Hip Hop Atlanta was experiencing that. Like, people were creating and fabricating storylines. And I think this part of production, trying to make sure they have something. She also said that Kenya is a great addition to the show, but she is not a star on the show. And she's not the star on the show. And I have to agree. I don't think that Kenya is a star on Real Housewives of Atlanta. I don't think she has solidified herself, especially standing next to a NeNe Leakes. Standing next to a NeNe Leakes, Kenya cannot be a star. Like, like NeNe is Bravo. Like, NeNe Leakes she hasn't been on the show, but she's still as, you know, as powerful. Like, her image and stuff, and people recognizing her fame is still there. Like, people recognize NeNe Leakes. I think NeNe Leakes honestly is worldwide. Like, say what you want, because not even just NeNe Leakes on the show. NeNe is pop culture. People use her gifts all the time. People use her reaction videos. Like, white refrigerator, iconic. I guarantee you the sales for white refrigerators went down after that. Like, NeNe Leakes has some of the most iconic phrases that no other housewife has. I think the only one that comes to my mind as far as like mainstream is when Phaedra went off on Kenya and said that about the, you know, getting the pizza box. And somebody made a joke about it, said, girl, maybe that medium pizza would have been the best considering all the stuff she had experienced with Mark. I'm screaming. Kenya, the twirl moment. Yes, that was iconic and all of that. But when you look up, like, it's like NeNe Leakes pop culture icon. Like, I think she's even in the African American Museum, as she should, like, because it's NeNe Leakes. And that name is a staple. Like, I would know that. And without NeNe Leakes, there is no Kenya Moore, there is no Portia, there is no any of these girls. I'm so sorry. Like, NeNe did birth these girls, like, on this show. Like, she did that. NeNe Leakes also talked about her friendship with Cynthia. She said she doesn't speak to Cynthia. She's not cool with her. She said after all of the things that happened, or her trying to get her off the show, stuff that she was doing behind the scenes. Now, Cynthia has now, you know, did an interview with Ted Riley. I think that's her name. I think, is it Ted Riley? But that's not gonna air till tomorrow. Well, by the time y'all are watching this, it'll be airing or whatever it's gonna put out. But Cynthia hasn't said anything to my knowledge about it before, like, I'm recording this. But Cynthia is not going to be friends with NeNe Leakes anytime soon. And NeNe said that Cynthia, y'all think y'all know Cynthia, she's not innocent. She's done some stuff behind the scenes that she knows about. Like, she was in with production. She was trying to get her off the show. She's trying to stop her bag. Now, I don't know if I agree necessarily with that, but we don't got no information to confirm that. I think both of them was going back and forth, but I think NeNe could have been a better, but I think seeing the show, it did look like that NeNe was running Cynthia. And I just, maybe folks did get into Cynthia's head, but from what it did look like that NeNe Leakes was running Cynthia and was a bad friend. But I also think that NeNe is a very powerful, she has a very powerful personality. And as someone who has a big personality as well, it can be overwhelming for my friends and stuff. There's actually one of my friends I haven't talked to in a minute that I still haven't responded to his text messages because we got some serious conversations to have, but I definitely relate to that. What else? She talked about her son and his addiction issues. She said that this has been going on for a while. And Carlos King asked NeNe, you know, do she feel as though him being on the show hurt with that, with like the fame and all that affected how Bryson is, because you all know that Bryson was arrested recently for possession of fentanyl. And NeNe Leakes said she doesn't feel like that's the sole reason. She feels like it didn't help. It didn't help or whatever. But she said that she wished she would have never scolded Bryson on that camera like that. Like that one of those famous, when you get your mind right, you lost your mind. She said that Bryson was very embarrassed by that. And I can imagine the pressure of that. I can imagine that, and I love that NeNe Leakes said she would never wash her hands with her son. And when she talked about his addiction, she was very open about it. And she said that he has to want to get help. Like, the help is there, but after speaking with a therapist, she said that she can't make him do anything. And I'm so glad that NeNe Leakes shared that, because I think that it is very true. When you're trying to help folks, you're trying to do stuff, even when you're talking to your kids. Parents, like your child has to want to do stuff. Like, pushing them and making them is not going to make them do the thing. So you're wasting energy. You have to find better ways, because if they're not ready, they're not ready. And NeNe Leakes, she was a testament of that. How she shared that she can't make Bryson do any of this. The man is 31 years old. Bryson almost the same age as me. And he's grown, he got kids and all the other stuff. He has to want to do these things for himself. And that's just what it is. What else was going on? Oh, she talked about Greg. She talked about her grieving. And she said that the next guy that she met, who was all the pictures and all that stuff, I thought that story was being pushed because she wanted to come back to Bravo. She wanted to come back to Housewives of Atlanta. But she said that he wanted some fame. Like, he liked to be in front of the camera, and he liked all of that. She said she won't do a relationship public anymore. They're gonna have to be private. But she said he was taking pictures. That was good. She talked about Greg, and she said that Housewives of Atlanta, like, this is the thing that Carlos, when they have conversations about patriarchy and gender and stuff, it's very hard watching it as someone who understands these things a little bit better, because he kept saying, oh, do you feel like that you emasculated Greg? This idea of women emasculating men, specifically black women emasculating men, is a myth. Like, what do you mean? Like, what is masculinity just summed up to being a provider, and that's all? Like, that's all you have? You being masculine, oh, I'm the provider, I'm the man of the house. Like, girl, I pay the bills and I put in light bulbs. That's all to you than just that? So men have benefited so much from patriarchy, and they have this belief, they've been taught that they have to be the one-stop shop. Everything that has to go to them. I hate it so much when my mama be like, my dad, the head of the house and all the other stuff. Girl, both of y'all is at the head of the house. Both of y'all are the head. There is not one person that is the head of the house. I want folks to let that shit go. Like, I'm tired of y'all stroking men's egos for the sake of themselves. And NeNe shared that. Like, NeNe shared that her, making more money made Greg insecure. He was insecure. He wasn't emasculated, he was insecure. He had control over the purse, over the wallet. And NeNe Leakes didn't have to ask him for all of these things. So think about it. If your man feels bad that now you don't have to ask him for money, what does that say? He should be glad. Like, you're thinking, hey, I'm lifting some of the burden. So it's not about burden, it's about control. It's not about more money coming into the house. It's about me being in control of the money and saying where it needs to be spent, where it needs to go. Not that this money is being spent wrong, or not that but it's just I need to be in control of things. And I think men need to let this go. Men are not being emasculated. They feel invalidated because they've been told from the very beginning that they are the head, they are all of these things, and they don't really have much to offer. Like, you cannot be the head and your ass is splitting bills and stuff. Like, girl, like, what is going on? Like, a lot of these men are trying to hold on to these values. How are you doing that? And you got your wife or your girlfriend is paying half the bills too. If they paying some of the bills, what the hell? It's both of our, like, what do you mean? We both making financial decisions and stuff. But, you know, men have been able to hold on to that. They've been able to hold power over women for years. Like, these men be having whole families outside of their own relationship, their own marriage. And these women can't leave because they don't have their own money. They don't have their own job. And men know that. They know that these women are not going anywhere. That's the power. That is the power. That's all they have. So, like, you know, so many people have said men benefit from patriarchy. They benefit from monogamy. They benefit from it because women, girl, like, if they weren't conditioned to be with one, like, they would be straight. Like, y'all don't really have much. Like, y'all don't really have they don't have a lot of money to be able to do these things. Like, y'all want to be in control. And it's just, I don't know. But the moment that NeNe said she started making more money, Greg felt insecure. It showed up in other stuff. And women have to just really lower themselves to make men feel like better. And that's, men need to work on their own shit. They need to check their egos. Like Carlos was sharing that he knows some woman that, you know, she acts as if she can't do things so her man can be excited about it. It's just like, if that's all the relationship is built on, that's not a relationship. It should be about love and how we feel around each other, not what you. I don't get that. I don't get that, because that type of stuff will hurt you longer. Because let's say you injure yourself and you're not able to do these things, and you become angry and upset at your partner because you can't do the things that validated you. You need to find other ways to be validated. You should be validated by love and care, not by you putting a goddamn light bulb. Hello? But this interview was good. They ended on the question of why NeNe Leakes sued Bravo, why she sued NBC and Universal. And they went to end the clip because part 2 is coming out next week. And I can't wait to see it. It's an hour and 20 minutes. Very, very detailed, very good. I don't think a second or a minute was wasted on this interview. Carlos King did his thing, and NeNe Leakes looked amazing. And I can't wait till part 2 comes out so I can do a review on it and tell you how I thought. But until next time, tell me what y'all thought about the interview. Tell me what y'all thought about my thoughts. Talk to me about these men being emasculated, because there's no such thing. These men are deeply insecure. Comment below.